Let's would get started straight away with the issue of the day. 3 arms make up the three arms make up and constitute the government of any state or nation where democracy is practiced. Nigeria is not an exception. Ogun State, also known as the Gateway State, located in southwest Nigeria, is not an exemption to this.
The Ogun State House of Assembly is the legislative branch of the Ogun State government, Nigeria, inaugurated on 3rd of February 1979. The Assembly is unicameral with 26 representatives elected from each constituency of the 20 local government areas of the state. Informally laying the foundation stone of the House, the then Administrator of the State, Brigadier H.O.D. Egaga, pleaded, "I implore all those who by the grace of God will become members of the State House of Assembly to turn this place into a battlefield."
The State House of Assembly has had 8 speakers since inception, preceding the incumbent and 9th Speaker of the State House of Assembly. The House of Assembly has, amongst many roles, legislative duties, performance of oversight and investigative functions, as well as screening and approval of appointments. This morning, for the issue of the day segment of Panorama, we have joining us live in the studio the Speaker of the 9th State House of Assembly in Ogun State, Right Honorable Prince Olakunle Taiwo Oluomo. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, and to all our listeners, say good morning too.
Okay, so as it is, we're live on Facebook, so you can also be a part of the experience if you love the visual to this. Just head straight to Facebook at Splash FM 1067, at Splash FM 1067. We'll look at, some bills that are on the floor of the State House of Assembly this morning. I think we should begin with the open grazing bill. That one that was passed by the House some time ago. And the bill was passed by State House of Assembly. How is it that we still see herdsmen with cattle grazing openly, really?
Well, the House of Assembly has passed the bill, as you have rightly said. We are waiting for the assent of Mr. Governor. I'm of the opinion, I believe, the assent will be given within now and the 1st of September, which is the deadline given by all the South state governors in Nigeria. That's by September 1. All of them should have signed into law. We have some, I don't know how to call it. The governor has been busy sort of things since we passed the bill. But I'm sure that he will join his colleagues, other governors, who has done so to do his own too. But it has passed our House as it should be.
All right. Well, before we...
So unless that is done, when he passes it, when it's assented, it will become law.
Becomes a law.
Then it becomes operational. Then the enforcers enforce it.
Okay, before we delve further into the matter of bills and passing bills, generally it's been, I believe, over 2 years since your 9th House of Assembly began its functions. Yeah. How would you rate your performance in the time since you got into this position?
Well, I don't believe in self-glorification. I will not be blowing my own trumpet. So it depends on the masses, those who put us there to assess us and, grade us according to our performance. I will not be doing that myself.
That sounds like a humble, modest response. But you can have your own scorecard, and then the masses can have their own scorecard. It doesn't have to match up, but...
Well, all I know is that as far as we are concerned, we have done our bit. The rest is for the masses to judge.
Okay. Well, now let's get into the matter of passing bills. Before we even get into the matter of passing bills, the legislature is often expected. It has certain functions, democratic functions, that allows it to perform oversight functions as well as checks and balances on the other arms of government. There are some who hold the opinion that this 9th Assembly is a rubber stamp of the executive. That's an accusation that always springs forth sometimes, especially when the House members are from the same party as the governor. So there are some who believe that the 9th House of Assembly is a rubber stamp of the executive and that it cannot challenge the governor on his actions that are undemocratic, such as the non-release of constituency project allowance. What do you have to say to
If
that?
I may add to that, some that I've also heard who are proponents of this mention the fact that the governor is a prince, you're also a prince, as an excuse on their part to reason
There
that
is
way.
something you people should understand. The intendment of the drafters of the Constitution that give us 3 arms of government does not say you start going fighting one another.
Right.
You play complementary role for one another, and it depends on your own interpretation. In the normal perspective, when you say something is a rubber stamp, that is a symbol of authority. Okay. At times, when you want to fill a form, you want to go to a military school, you want to get an employment, they ask you to send a letter, and they ask the person recommending you to put the seal of his office, which is the rubber stamp. That means until that seal is there, everything you have produced are zero. So if you say the House of Assembly is a rubber stamp, the seal that gives the government authority, so be it. So be it. I don't give a damn when people say they are rubber stamp. So what you expect us to be doing is to be fighting the governor, creating problem. What becomes of Nigeria between 2015 and 2019 when the National Assembly and the President are not seeing eye to eye? Who suffered for it? So it is not for us to say we want to start fighting the governor and we cannot fight him, we cannot do. Let me say it here. You are referring to constituency project allowance, which has not been given us. Though. Yes, of course. We are all in the states. We are monitoring what is going on. It's a question of availability of fund. And we are appealing the governor. There are so many things pending in the hand of government all the time. The governor wants the local government to survive. He wants pensions to be paid. He wants salaries to be paid. And we are watching what is coming in. We are only asking, okay, supposing we didn't allow him to pay salary, pay the pensioners, do roads all over the places, what would people be saying? Because of their own constituency project, they have not allowed the governor to do this. They have not allowed. So we have to calm down and reason with ourselves. Okay, governor said, let me do this road that I'm doing. When I'm done, like 80% of this road, I'll still come back to you because even those roads that I'm doing, they fall into constituency of each one of you too. So that means even in our own constituency, one project or the other is going on. So the peculiarity of the constituency project is because it is specific and measurable. It goes down to where the long arm of the state cannot reach. You are specific. You have a rural village under your constituency where road cannot get to during the reign of this administration. And you know that they are drinking from a stream. And that stream, you are not talking of diseases that will come out of it. You don't feel, this one, I should go and do a borehole for them in that place. Specifically for their need. You look at a village, maybe 3, 4, 5 villages, they have no toilets to use. The government cannot be thinking of paying salaries, doing hospital, doing school, and be thinking of doing two toilets somewhere. The honorable member representing that place is the one that has been visiting there, go and canvass for food. Okay, this place, I can do 3 toilets for them and put maybe 1 borehole. That is the specificality of what is called constituency project. So if you have not gotten it, that is not a point of disagreement that you start fighting governor for. I don't know why people think in that way, but that's not the norm. The norm, there are 3 basic assignments you are given to do as a legislature.
All right.
Appropriation, approve the budget for the state. The plenary, you go there, you debate issue, you make resolution, you pass law, and you go to oversight. The money we have approved for you, how far have you gone about spending it? What is this doing? What is this doing? We go about on the road, even the road as we are saying. Members of us have asked committee on works, we always go there, measure the road. What is the level of asphalt? What do they quote for? What do we approve for them? Are they doing according to the specific given to them? So you may not see. They are invisible thing, sort of abstract. But we are doing a bit that we are supposed to be doing. But the truth of the matter is that any responsible House of Assembly or legislature will not go into fighting with executive. It's a question of sitting down together, working together for the benefit of the people. It's as simple as that.
I'd love for us to look at the issue of transportation because we might have quite a whole lot to talk about in that regard. But is there a consideration from the part of the House to raise a bill? I mean, some time ago there was the fighting that happened around Kuto that affected a certain bank in that area, and then I recall the governor raised the fact that heavy duty vehicles will not be allowed to ply bridges. But as a matter of fact, on my way to work this morning, I saw heavy duty vehicles plying these overhead bridges. Is there something?
Which one particularly are you talking about?
I'm talking of the Itoku,
Okay.
Shakpon, that expanse of bridge.
Okay. I wouldn't know, as I'm sitting there, whether that Itoku Shakpon is part of the one they say every vehicle should not climb. I don't know. But I will find. Then, basically, if there's a rule that they should not climb there, the fault is not that of the governor, but the enforcers of the law. Okay. Right? And there are ways to do it. I will ask the Commissioner for Works to look into it. If it is true that they don't want every truck to pass through, you put some barricade, like it is done in other climb. You put some barricade that you know the measurement, the level, the height of the type of vehicle you want passing the place. Then you put sort of a very strong barricade that even if it runs into it, it hinges the vehicle and even the person. Then even if you are not there, if you don't have enough personnel to man this, or even dead of the night, they will be checked. They will not be doing it. So we will look into that. That is not a big deal.
Okay, let's also look at the issue that concerns commercial bike riders. We had a couple of them on our show here last week, Wednesday, I believe, and then they talked about how they've been getting unfriendly levies from Akomaran, Amaran, Romo, and all of those things, which has created a lot of conversation in this space in recent times. Is that not something the State House of Assembly should also look into as to? In fact, as a matter of fact, they are saying that there are those in government that are beneficiaries of these levies and these fees and these taxes of sorts that they have to pay to these bodies, which is killing for them.
Well, let me emphasize that the organizations that you mentioned, they are collecting agents of the government.
Okay.
They are collecting on behalf of the government. And they are using that opportunity to collect their own levies too from among their members to run themselves. So it's simply because if government want to take taxes from Okada riders, they will not do it themselves. It is not possible for somebody that's going to go to the road, even if you give that job. The time in this state when the task of collecting that revenue was given to non-Okada association, it doesn't succeed. So it is those who are operating that you give that assignment to. But if they are now saying that, well, what they are charging them is now higher, that is subject to negotiation. And that is, they now say that House of Assembly are not doing anything. It's not right. I think it's yesterday, or even on Friday, there are so many times we intervene in their matter. Personally, on Friday, this last Friday, I invited some of their chairmen and I told them that, look, there are some complaining I'm hearing about all over the places. Find a formula, find a solution to solve this problem, even among themselves. That some even say that our guys at the states are enjoying sort of largesse, that the one that is coming to us at the local level is not enough for us to do. And let me tell you, you don't know the advantage of keeping these boys in this job. For instance, if in a town like my town, you have about 250 to 300 of them, depending on this little thing that is coming. My brother, what happens if they don't have anything to do? It would have been disastrous.
But those on the receiving end of this see that they are paying people at multiple points, which seems to be a problem for them.
There's no point for anybody paying multiple points. If we notice that one, we can check it. But the truth of the matter is this: some Okada riders are recalcitrant. He will not want to take the ticket. That is a daily thing. I don't know. It depends on the area. Some area is 200, some is 300, some is even 1,000 naira per day. Because it depends. You carry the passenger, you assess the area. Now, he will not take the ticket here now. He will carry passenger. When he get to the next bus stop or another area where another unit is operating, for instance, like on this Abiola way now, maybe they have 2-3 units. Maybe it's Majakodumi, Badojutimi unit. Maybe you have another unit at Shiro Junction or NNPC. When you carry passenger from here to another one, when you show them, because it is one of the organization that is working throughout the state in a week, so it's not the two of them working together. Say, okay, you have taken that of Amora, you have not taken that of Romo. No, it is one that will be operating. That's our system. Only one. We operate across the state in one day. So if you get a ticket from Majekodomi unit,
Right.
and you get to NMPC unit, the more and when they stop you and you show them the one you have just collected, nobody stops you. You understand me? For some of them, we start running from one corner to another to avoid that payment, and it normally leads to crisis. Some are not professional Okada riders. They buy Okada to use to take them to work and come back. But maybe occasionally they say, me too can make some money out of it. They will now in the evening or very early in the morning turn it into commercial use. They want to start carrying people all over. When they are caught by this type of people, by the unions, it becomes crisis. So I'm not saying that what they are doing is correct or perfect, but I'm saying there are room for development, and I'm just giving hindsight of certain things that used to lead to crisis. Because somebody who did not register as a commercial operator of Okada, when certain things procedure must take place, they give you a sticker, they give you one form of identification or the other, so that it's even for security of our people. You did not do that, then you refuse to pay the levy that you're supposed to pay. We are trying to come up with one thing that if you ride on Okada now, we are trying to factor insurance into it. Okay. That if an Okada fall on the way, the rider and the passenger, they should be entitled to one form of benefit or the other. But you know that if you want to do that, we still need to increase the money, because the insurance company will take their pay. Those who are selling the ticket, at times is risky for them. Like I'm saying that you came out as early as 7 o'clock. I mean, it's like that. Anybody that want to work in the Okada sector and succeed must be ready to come out as early as 3, 4, 5. 5 o'clock in the morning and stay late into night. That is it's a form of a work, but you're agent of government while you make your own money too. So those are the things that are happening there. But then we have always been intervening, and we will continue to do. When you have issues, send the petition to the house. We will treat it as from our good citizens.
Right.
Now, Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, you've answered a question on the minds of many as regards who sanctioned or who endorsed or on whose powers these unions are operating, because that's a question we asked last week. The Okada riders say these unions do not represent their interests, that they did not elect these operators, the agents who collect the levies from them. They do not belong to any association that links them together, that they collect the money and they pay the levies. So by saying that they are collecting agents of the government, we know that the government is in charge of the unions.
The tickets they are giving to people are collected from IRS, Internal Revenue Service of the state, on weekly basis. Okay. When they collect the ticket to sell on behalf of the government, they now added their own to it as like collection fee. So that is what happened. It's not, and these are organizations that are corporately registered. Corporate Affairs Commission duly certified them.
All
and
three of them?
Of course, yes.
Amoran
and the Romo. Yes, they have certificates that register them as an association. And they say that again, apart aside from that, the Ogun State government also give them recognition as a collecting agent.
For what purpose? Why 3 of them? What purpose is one of them serving that the other is not already serving?
Thank you. We have so many people to cater for. And I've told you, it is 1 per week. So how do they affect one another? If Romo operates this week, it leaves the road. Akobra come the following week. After working, it leaves the road. The other one come. So we're able to accommodate a lot of people doing the same job for the government.
But they pay stickers to all 3 of them yearly, 2,000 naira to each of the
It depends.
unions.
It depends on the area. It depends on the area. There are some areas, you see, when people are complaining, I can understand. But when they see such, all they need to do is to make complaint. It is impossible for government to. We even use that one to engage those boys to get something on their own instead of roaming about the street. Each time I walk the street, I'm always afraid when I see a lot of boys sitting down somewhere, drinking, even in the morning, having nothing to do. But those who were able to rein into this association, we use their leaders to always talk to them. Maintain your life. Don't cause problem. If there's any problem in anywhere, we are going to hold you responsible. Like I used to do in my place. I will call them periodically, the leaders of the union. So thing is going to happen. If I see you people there, be very careful. We are seeing this. Go and checkmate them, and we don't. So it's a way of engagement. That's where we find ourselves in Nigeria today. And don't look down on some of them. I want to tell you there are graduates among them. There are people that are very sound among them. I recall that a person came to me sometimes 2018 or so, that he's tired of life. There's nothing he can do. And that he has a BSc in accounting. I said, there's no job that you can do now. He said, Oga, if there's anything I can just lay my hands on, I will do. I said, okay. Not quite long, I noticed that the position of auditor vacant in one of the unions because of the political crisis of APC, APM. I said, okay, can you do this job for them? I said, I'm okay, sir. I put the guy there. Today, the guy is surviving on that, and he has even used that opportunity because they used to do what is called empowerment among themselves. Right. If you recall, sometimes early this year, I've been to 2 of the unions to assist them, to support them in their empowerment program, where they bought cars to empower themselves. They bought motorcycle to empower the people that are complaining. They will come to Majakodomi here, and maybe, I'm just using that as a sample. I didn't say they give anybody, I'm not fairly sure. Right. They just say, this place, give us one person, one of the riders to empower. Not even officer. Okay, let's empower somebody here. You pick one, give him Okada. Go to that flower, give him Okada. To support what they are doing. So they are doing their bit. And you cannot compare that opportunity that we are giving them with them just strolling about the streets, doing nothing, and becoming tool for criminality. Okay. I know the situation is not perfect, but we are trying to do our bit.
Okay, well, wanting to engage these unions as a way of keeping them from being idle and perhaps turning to crime is admirable, but it seems to come at the expense of the riders, because from the figures we totaled in the amount they pay in levies and taxes, the stickers, the daily levies, the hackneying permit, everything, it almost amounted to 200,000 naira in a year. And this is a profession that is not going to be generating as much as, or probably double of that. Said in some areas they pay, and the riders themselves verify this, they pay as high as 1,000 naira. So is wanting to engage these unions going to come at the expense of extorting these riders who are paying these astronomical fees?
I have said it earlier on. I don't want to believe in the use of the word extorting. Okada riding is a business. I'm not saying that what the unions are doing are 100% correct. It is normal in human setting that you have negativity part of positivity. And that is life for you. If we see that type of situation, we have a formula to correct it. They should report appropriately. But to say that anybody that goes into Okada business, when you are coming, if you don't have a car and you ride an Okada, won't you pay? You pay.
Right.
As it rains this morning, where they're supposed to carry you for 100 naira, they will say it's 200 naira.
Right.
Little thing that happens, they to themselves increase the fare. They increase, but how long ago has the government increased the money they are paying? What the unionists are doing can be funny at times. They can be not right in most cases, but they are not wrong at all times.
Right,
but if you come up with specifics, then all we need to do is to ask them to come and we treat such issue so that it doesn't make things difficult for the riders and even the people the passengers they're trying. So there's no perfect situation in the world. I agree with you that they can be funny at times, they can be recalcitrant, they can introduce some negativity. Yes, it's normal in human setting. But when we see such, we nip it in the bud and we correct it. So I'm assuring you that those ones that you are referring to, yes, it's good that we are getting this feedback. This type of feedback will give us the opportunity of calling them to checkmate them. Leaders will fight them. This is the complaint about your people. Go and do the necessary correction, and we will do.
Before we move on from the commercial motorcycle riders issue, there's also the point of concern from citizens. I mean, I've heard that from analysts endangering life.
One of the riders complained about that just yesterday. I spoke with him, and he said they ended up in the police station.
I have, on a number of occasions, seen that, and I've cautioned them. But the truth of the matter is this. Any rider you must belong to a particular unit.
Okay.
The best thing for you to do is when you get to your new unit in the morning, you pay your dues, get your ticket, and you're able to move around this area without anybody interfering. Don't worry. If you belong to a particular unit and they know you very well, even if you don't take your ticket in the morning, they say, the so person, he will take his ticket before the day runs out. But some will be running from one unit to another without wanting to pay. And those are the type of thing. But I did not say jumping in front of Okada is right. Very, 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 very wrong and uncalled for. So we continue to checkmate and talk to them.
Okay, well, another issue away from the Okada riders situation that is in this time on the lips of many is the VAT collection. Now, we know what's happening in Rivers State, where the Rivers State government is insisting that VAT and personal income tax should be paid to the state government as opposed to the FIRS and the federal government. And aside from getting a high court judgment in that honor, its state assembly has enacted a bill to that effect. Do you plan to toe the path of Rivers by creating a bill to legalize the collection of VAT and personal income tax by the state government?
Let's see what the courts will interpret. For me, as a person, I agree with that principle that VAT should be collected by the state. Even if the federal government is going to take part of it. You see, so many things are wrong in this country. I have had cause to challenge this somewhere at a debate in Abuja that it is wrong. How can you collect tax from Southwest, we people that are the whole South Nigeria, where we drink beer like anything in cartons, millions of bottles, and you collect tax, VAT from it. And at the end of the month, Kano that is saying is practicing Hisba, that you cannot drink alcohol there, still share part of the money. Is that not haram for them? You say not drinking beer is haram. You don't want to be part of it. You should not drink it in your state. But when they collect money from VAT from those who are drinking, you collect. Which one is not better? What's haram? So I am in support, but because we are just testing our federalism,
right?
Which I think is good. You know that the same thing happened. If everybody has been doing like Lagos State has been doing, they are now waking up. Otherwise, even the one that do it now is doing it for political reason. But then it is still good for development of democracy. That's part of the restructuring we are talking about. Right. So I am 100% in support of it. But we are trying to say, okay, it's a question of testing. They have gone to court now. Federal government have gone to court. Right. Let's see what the court will say. The moment the court says, the one court has said, High Court has said it, by the time it gets to Supreme Court, and the interpretation is the same thing, then all of us will follow suit. It won't become automatic. So it is not a question of everybody rushing to court for the same
at the same
purpose.
Time.
That is what they call the lawyers used to call it forum shopping. Okay. I think if I'm correct, doing the same thing, the same court has done it. No. You don't need to start rushing yourself. One state has done it. Okay, take for instance now, the 36 states are now going to court over the PIA, Petroleum Industry Act. They want to challenge certain things out of it. But that is not so the law will not be applicable. Right. It will be operational now. But it's good for us that we are doing it legally. Some people don't go to court and say, okay, you have signed it into law and it's now operational. But so aspects are illegal because it infringes our right on this. Then the court will look at the nitty-gritty of law and give appropriate interpretation. That interpretation will not be binding on all of us, which is good for advancement of our democracy. If we have been doing this all along, probably would have been higher than this. But this Sorosoke era is allow anybody now to challenge what they feel is challengeable.
All right, we see your comments coming through on Facebook, by the way. Thank you for keeping them. Keep them
and
coming.
WhatsApp.
And WhatsApp as well. We'll get to them very shortly. This is another, a proposed bill on traditional council law reported in The Guardian on the 16th of July this year. Now, you were explaining that bill that was proposed to correct existing anomalies in traditional institutions, especially the conduct of installation without following due process. As a matter of fact, skeptics...
Traditional rulers. So if you don't want government to be part of it, why is it under the government in the first place? We are not in the era of your empire, where the Oba is the overall. We are now in the era of civility, where a duly elected and democratically elected governments are in place. So everything falls under them. If you say you are a Bale and you don't have government recognition, what are you? Can anybody just be going about and be parading themselves as Oba or Bale without government approval? It will lead to chaos. Now everybody will become, I don't want to mention a particular section of the country, where every compound has its own government. Are you now saying that government that pays them should not be part of what they are doing? So that is the norm. What we are saying is that there must be due process in doing it. I gave a lot of example. If I mention the particular village now, if a village is here, the original village, and it has its own baile, but it sold land to maybe their former farmland, sold to people to build houses, and they now have more than 200 houses there now. They form CDA, they form CDC. Before you know it, they say they want to have a number, and they are part of a town, the landowners. Right. And before you know it, one government or somebody has just given them over there at the expense of the original landowner. Right. These are the type of irregularities we are talking about.
But some believe that the assembly is doing the bidding of some powerful people, including the Awujale of Ijebuland.
That is their thought, and thinking and observation is free. It's normal. It's normal in human setting. And for your information, that bill does not emanate from Awujale. It emanates from the House, right? That we are trying to do some corrections into certain things. So if anybody thinks it is Awujale, Awujale has been on the throne over 50 years. That's right. If he has wanted to do that type of thing, I've done it long before. But everybody has the right to say, okay, you want to amend this law. This is my view. Can you amend this part of it too? Even you at the studio, you can write a letter to the House or come to our public area and say, that bill that you are sponsoring, we notice so. We want you to amend so. We will look at it critically. If it's what we will put it there. Because we are there to the people. So it's not a question of putting it on anybody. And when you want to do laws on membership, will you not consult Awujale? Somebody that has been on the throne for over 50 years. Will you not consult the Alake of Egbaland? Will you not consult the Akaribu? Will you not consult the Olu of Ilaro and the paramount ruler of Yewa? And what type of law are you making? These are the direct beneficiary of the law. And we have what is called publics per each that is concerned with each law. If I'm doing law on broadcasting, I will invite Splash to come there and make a point, because you are one of the first publics in that institution, in that arena, in that area, in that domain that will have to involve you. So that's the point.
All right, well, we're going to open phone line shortly, but in the meantime, keep sending in your comments on Facebook and WhatsApp. Facebook is Splash FM 106.7, and we're streaming live as well, so you can watch us with the Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, who is the Speaker of the 9th House of Assembly. He's our guest this morning. I've asked him a number of questions regarding, pertinent bills and even generally the performance of the 9th House of Assembly, Ogun State House of Assembly. So keep sending in those comments. Now, a couple of months ago, we went on an expedition to a school.
Malaolu Village.
Right, in Malaolu Village. I think that's in Obafemi Owode local government. Right. And when we got to that place, first of all, the roads were barely motorable. It was definitely well inside. We had to drive deeply inside, that community to access the place. And when we got there, we found out that the school was very dilapidated. It hadn't been renovated in
years,
decades even. And it was serving a number of communities. It had missing roofs, shingles. It didn't have the teachers that they had. I think they said they had two teachers serving the whole community. And it was serving about 6 communities. We have pictures of it on our Facebook page. How is that a school how is it that a community or 6 communities are sharing one school and no one seems to take responsibility for that? Because we try to get across to the lawmaker representing that constituency and he declined to appear despite giving his word that he was going to. So how is it? And at the time, local government chairman had not and councillors had not been installed. So how is it that, on whose part does that lack of responsibility lie?
May I ask you, what has the community been looking at? If you have that is for the advantage and educational advancement of your children, has been there like that, what role are they playing too?
They mentioned that they had reached out to the lawmakers severally.
They have reached out to the lawmakers severally. Have they been to Subeb?
Yes, they have.
Then if they have such, they can let us know. Bring it to our knowledge. But the truth of the matter is, you are seeing part of the case of so many years. It was when this present administration came. Everybody knows put political sentiment apart. The last administration did not focus on those institutions as at that time. They did their bit, but it's not as specific and as pronounced as it's now being done. This present administration now, there's hardly any local government you go around now that you don't see what you now call yellow roof, refurbishing, renovation. So if it has not gotten to that stage, then we'll look into it. Because all of us in the house, we are saying that, okay, you know that Ogun State, we have many more primary schools than most of the states in this edition. Even in Lagos here, we have more public school than all of them because Egba and the Jebu and the Iwa people are educated elites. We cherish education so much. So there's hardly any village you get to without finding one school or the other.
One that's not run down.
Particularly mission school that are taking a complement of staff. But the school is still running. You are saying they have 2 teachers. Yes, we need to go there and look at it and then carry out some assessments. Ask the people in charge, put more classrooms, maybe before people start moving there because of the civilization that is coming in. Maybe by the time they do their last assessment. I know of a particular village where in my place, they used to have less than number of people in their school. There was a time we built a classroom somewhere and they don't even have people to fill it. But these days, people have moved to that area and what they now have is not even adequate again. We're now asking, whereas in the last 10 years, we have classrooms that are not even useful for them. Because somebody used his influence as a politician to say, okay, go and build classroom for my people. They build the classroom, no pupils. But now civilization has come, people have moved to that area because of the railway station that has come up. So it now becomes inadequate and we are trying to see what we can do to. So you have mentioned it. Please, before I leave, give me the particular name of that school. Okay. I'll now get in touch with Subeb directly. Or I ask the honorable member representing to personally get in touch with Subeb. And we cannot do everything at all times. But we continue to be listening to people and taking care of all those ones one after the other.
All right. I'm sure the people of Malawi will be grateful to see their educational needs met.
Of the school in question.
Let me give you my WhatsApp number there so that you send it to me.
Great. All right, let's pay attention to your calls now so we can take as many of them as possible. We'll extend the show of the day for a bit so you can get to speak with the honorable speaker here with us in the studio, right? Honorable Olakunle Oluomo. 0817
So when you send it to me, put your name.
1067 0704 400 1067 and 0817 555 1067. Please ensure to keep your thoughts to 1 minute so we can allow as many people as possible to be a part of the conversation this morning. Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, Afolabi is my name. I'm calling from Abeokuta.
Falabi, go on. You have a minute.
I have numerous questions, but let me just talk about one.
Great.
I want to say that I am not comfortable with the speaker's explanation when you people were asking him about the Okada. Firstly, I believe those unions are just associations of which nobody must be compelled to comply to whatever they lay down. There's freedom of association, freedom of dissociation. Now, why is this that the government deploys such unions to collect revenue for it? It is like we are creating problems. are now trying to defend it by saying we are trying to solve problems. Sentiments apart, it is not right. IRS is there. What are they doing? Why must they delegate this to a union that has other motives? So these people are being oppressed. It is wrong. And that is why what we do now, we always create problems for us in the future. This is an association. An average Okada rider may decide not to join.
All right.
You are very correct that there's freedom of association. But the other ones are your personal opinion. The government will have to do their duty and their job through an agency. And it's like you engage people to do certain things. If the way they are doing it is not satisfactory, we'll look into it and correct it.
Right.
But you don't throw away the water and the baby because of one thing or the other.
Well, the Speaker has said that the association it represents the interests of the government and not the riders. So,
hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. What's your name?
Yes, Tajudeen from Agbon.
Tajudeen, you have a minute. Please make it count.
Yes, I must say that the Speaker has answered these questions brilliantly. Well, it may sound a bit political, but he has answered them brilliantly. However, the issue of trying to empower the youth with creating several associations, what if the next government comes and add another one, it makes it 4, 5, 6 like that. So instead of that, why not empower them with motorcycles or in other aspects, like maybe creating job employment for them rather than using it to affect the bike riders? Thank you.
Let me just intervene immediately. Now, you see, all the youths in the community are not the same thing. Some are engaged on the Okada at their will. That's what they choose to do. The tech hub is there. Some of them are into IT, ICT, a lot of other. There are so many other engagements for the youth that is going on in this country. That everybody shows his part, and everybody has his own background. Somebody may be good in this and not be good in that one. So don't say we are using that one to empower you to. So many other programs are going on that are youth development.
All right.
So,
all right, more calls now. Hello, good morning. Oh, okay, we lost that one. Do all the callers again, would appreciate it. 0817-444-1067. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning to you.
I like you to Ogun.
All right, please go on, Elijah. You have a minute. Come on.
Thanks. On the issue of this, thanks for the honorable. Please, you are giving the right answer to the right questions on the issue of this Okada. And believe those people that are repeating for. And we want to form union. They want to do Okada business without being if possible. That is one. On the issue of the schools, please, we want you to go to schools. Or when they are going there, all the schools now, the land of the school. So they don't look at the development. So we want you to where you are doing it, both primary and secondary school, not that primary alone. We want to let them have their service of the school so that for the future. All
right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. In the last legislature, we went around all the schools and we discovered that almost all the land had been encroached. So we now directed the people in charge to make a survey for each school, and we encourage this school too to find out a formula to fence their land round. But the truth of the matter is that the government alone cannot do this all over the place. My own school at Okinlaifo, I recall that we encouraged the students to bring one block each, and we, the old students, added to it. I know how many blocks I bought. Because when I discovered that my own school is almost totally encroached, that was the method we adopted. In fact, there are schools that I gave them money to plant trees around their boundaries so that to stop this encroachment. I want the community to always think of the future. That by the time they encroach all the land, where would there be opportunity for them to build more classrooms for the children? They are moving there. They are moving there in droves, building 1 room, 2 room. By the time they are there for 5 years, it is the father, the mother, and 1 child that came. By the time they are there for another 10 years, they'll be having 3, 4 children. Where are the schools? They will have encroached the land. And I keep appealing to these ballers who want to be baller that they should always remember to prepare land for school, market, hospital, and other development, instead of themselves selling the land to ride jeep
All right. Well, we have a lot of calls and comments with questions.
Right.
So we'll try to swiftly take them all. On WhatsApp, okay, well, let's take this call, then we'll get to WhatsApp
Hello,
and Facebook.
good morning.
Hello, good morning, Lola.
Good morning.
Good morning, Zinga.
What is your name?
This is Engineer Tayo Adenero from Kuto.
Thank you for calling. Go ahead.
I'm not comfortable with all what the Honorable has said this morning. When the leader of ours came to the studio, begins to say all this.
Engineer Tyre.
We're hearing you. I'm online with you, please.
Hello, are you with me?
Yes.
I am with you. So
Go
I'm
ahead.
the speaker himself. I'm with you. I'm listening to you.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes, sir.
please, the way you address the issue of Okada men and the union, it's not fair enough, sir. It's not fair enough. If you say the way your guy, it is obvious now that you are the one, you are supporting this union. It's not easy to ride Okada. Most of them are paying 1,500, 2,000 naira. But where I'm just getting annoyed, sir, the way you just handle the issue, sir.
I feel I should answer to the few station, and I've even said that if there are ones that are not suitable to people, we'll still look into it. I wouldn't have answered it any other way around.
Right.
But then you are entitled to your own comment, please. Thank you very
All
much.
right.
for
Well,
comment.
let me implore that when you're criticizing or when you're making your criticism of some of what the speaker has said, be specific. Tell us exactly what you agree with.
That's right. Hello, good morning. Oh, we lost that one. Do other callers again. Hello.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
Good morning to Mr. Speaker.
Good morning, my brother.
Straight to the point. I want
You didn't tell us your name. You didn't tell us your name. It's important we know your name.
Ajani from Abeokuta.
Ajani, go on, please.
I hope Mr.
I'm on with you. I'm alive with you.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello?
we can hear you.
Go
Go on.
ahead.
Go on.
Yes. Okay. I want to complain about these are all- the old citizens. What is this government doing about them? Their gratuity is not being paid. You are part and parcel of this government. There's no doubt about that. You should be able to influence whoever is in charge. I don't believe it's only the executive because it's a constructed kind of an effort. I want you to use a good office to at least some of our parents.
My brother,
let the service
my brother,
2014
don't go
and
too
something
far.
like that.
Don't go too far. I understand what you are saying clearly, and we are doing a lot of things about it silently. That I'll not start telling you here, but I'm sure
Will it take over?
we continue to do our bit. Please,
All right, let's hear from somebody else.
I agree that I sympathize with them. We are doing our bit
Hello?
silently.
Good morning, Baba Eri. Yes, go on. Go on, please.
Mr. Speaker, honestly, at this juncture, at this time, I will commend your administration. This is Gabriel